I started out tonight with full intentions of doing a bit of a review for you guys of my very first ever proper set of chisels. Then I got to thinking about it, and it occurred to me, how am I going to do a review of a set of chisels when I don't even have a proper mallet to strike them with? So I'm going to make one. I will grant you what I'm going to make is not something that a lot of people would consider a proper mallet, but it's going to beat the heck out of striking my brand new chisels with a 16-ounce claw hammer. If you've ever spent any time watching any of Paul Sellers' videos, you'll know that for a lot of people, Paul Sellers' videos are kind of like WebMD. You know, WebMD, you get on there because you got a funny smell in your nose, and by the time you're done, you have a brain tumor. Well, Paul Sellers' videos, I've never walked away from one thinking that I had a brain tumor, but in the sense that WebMD, you get on there, and by the time you're done, you have something you never realized you had. Well, Paul Sellers' videos, you watch a couple of them, and pretty soon you realize how many tools that you never realized you needed. Well, that's kind of the upshot of this mallet. And it kind of, this mallet is as much of an idea or a philosophy, I guess, as it is a mallet. Because my mallet's going to be a bit of a departure from the series, the three-part series that Paul does about building a mallet. Because he uses good materials. He uses, you know, a big old hunk of oak or Osage orange, I think he recommends, which I'm sure are wonderful pieces of wood to build a mallet, to build a proper mallet that'll probably last you a lifetime. But at some point, you need to figure out how to make do with what you've got. Now, if you've got very deep pockets, every time that you come across a special tool that you need for some kooky project, if you were able to just run out and buy whatever special tool that you needed every time, you would pretty quickly have a really kicking tool set. If, on the other hand, you are on any sort of budget, if you weren't able to do it because of a special tool, there are a lot of projects, a lot of stuff that you just couldn't do. And now I'll grant you, sometimes there's no substitute for the proper tool. If you need a 1-inch drill bit, you're not going to make a 1-inch drill bit, you know, stuff like that. But if you have the opportunity, a wooden mallet, well, do I not do the project that I need to do because I do not have a 4-inch by 4-inch by 8-inch hunk of oak laying around in my shop? No, that's not the stance that I take. So come on down the road with me, and we're gonna build probably the ugliest proper mallet you've ever seen. While I don't have any Osage orange at my disposal, what I do have is a hunk of wood from a lemon tree. Not related whatsoever. Osage orange is not an orange. I did a little Wikipedia research and discovered that they are not even closely. They're trees. They're both trees. That's about as related as they are. Anyhow, I've got this hunk of lemon wood, and it's pretty dense stuff. If you can see, the growth rings are really close together, and it's just very dense. So I think it'll make at least a respectable mallet for a little while. But I do need to get it all cleaned up, get the bark and knot off of it here. Well, now I've got this hunk of wood all cleaned up. I've got all the bark off of it and got it more or less uniform. I kind of knocked down the knot here and smoothed it out a little bit here, so it's pretty well uniform. The next step is to cut the face of it to a 7-degree angle, and maybe you can tell, maybe you can't. I already cut it once today, tried to cut it anyway, and did really good on this side, and this side is twisted about 15 degrees, 20 degrees or so. So I need to recut this side to get that angle right. There's my 7 degrees, so I'm going to draw a line there, which I've already done, and I'm going to use that as the top, and so that both of my angles are on the same, kind of on the same plane. So this should be a mortise that's nicely chiseled out, but it turns out I don't have a mallet for my chisels to chisel out a mortise. So I'm going to make a round hole and do it that way. Well, look at there. I got a hole on the other side. I think I'm going to finish that off with a hand drill. Okay, now it's got a hole. Time for a handle. So again, per the wisdom put forth on Paul Sellers' video, I'm going to mark off 14 inches here on the handle. I'm going to grab a back saw that I never knew I needed. Still don't have, really. Now I'll whittle it down pretty considerably so that it will fit in the hole. This is an 1.25 inch dowel, and the hole that I just drilled is an inch hole. Alright, and now, after a pretty large amount of shaping, whittling, I now have a gigantic, ridiculous, bam looking mallet, which is now, after a coat of boiled linseed oil, ready to perform. Now it's not quite as sleek and sexy as a Paul Sellers creation, but I'll bet you it'll last a pretty good long time. I bet you it'll work just fine. So, thanks for watching. I hope this is, if nothing else, inspired you to be able to build something, even though you don't have exactly the stuff that I don't know, maybe the master craftsman recommends for doing the same job. And yeah, I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Thanks again. A quick bit of wisdom from the family cookbook. I was thinking about this very saying the other day as I was washing some dishes, and so I dug through here and I found it. And it says, "Thank God for dirty dishes, they have a tale to tell. While others may go hungry, we're eating very well. With home and health and happiness, I shouldn't want to fuss, for by the stack of evidence, God's been very good to us." Something to think about the next time that you don't want to wash that stack of dirty dishes. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you on the next video.